Did you want to touch on, you're already kind of talking about it, maybe what the outreach strategy is? How do you guys plan to onboard cities, onboard, clients? What's some of the strategy?
Well, we already are collecting a lot of the data that's required from our existing customers. So many of the largest cities across North America. So one critical piece of the puzzle is already there. Our strategy talks is about talking to our partners in the city engineering department, but of course they're not responsible for health services, and so we need to bring the regional health services people into it. In addition, we also have to speak to our engineering partners and have them educate or bring up to speed the various labs that have traditionally done testing, but testing for other things, not necessarily this. And those labs have to work with their academic partners from the universities to understand how to draw out a signal from the actual data. And so these, but all that is complete. We have a roadmap, methodology in place, and the data is being collected. Like I said, now it's more of an exercise in implementation and making sure that we have these groups pulled together and understanding what each person, each group is responsible for and needs to do in order for them to get the real benefit from this.
Yeah. And curious, let me know how much you want to say about it, but just from a general curiosity, like how much does setting up one of these systems cost? What's cost the client?
For initially to look for COVID, we're going to do it for free. To try and well, first of all, make sure that the product is running the way it should, and we've worked out all the bugs. But secondly, I think everybody's got to do what they can given these circumstances. So for us, it's initially just get it up and running, and we'll worry about the dollars and cents afterwards. But as you can probably figure out from this, the applications aren't limited to COVID. And once this is actually up, we can see lots of different applications and usages for it. I mentioned the looking at opioid use, for instance, in different communities. And letting health services know if there's going to be a real problem there. That's incredibly important in British Columbia and lots of different parts of the United States and around the world. This fentanyl crisis has been devastating, absolutely devastating. And to give the health services people a heads up on where it's entering, how it's moving, and what the scope of the actual problem is in each of these communities is extremely important. Other uses of it that you think about it are only limited by your creativity. I think about what happened in Flint, Michigan, for instance, several years ago with lead poisoning. And in that particular case, the water source was being tested, but it was being tested at the source and treated at the source. But what was happening is the water was actually traveling then through a new series of pipes, delivery pipes, to the population. And that's where the problem was occurring, because it was leaching lead into the water, and then people were drinking the water, which had an extremely high threshold or high content of lead, and they were getting sick. So imagine if you had a system like this put in place, and just one of the tests, for instance, was to look at the content of heavy metals, and you were able to isolate the actual wastewater from all the rest of the stuff that enters the system, precipitation, groundwater, and all the rest of the stuff. So you got a very, very clear picture of, say, the parts per million in your sample. It should be very, very easy to sound the warning bells when that a threshold becomes unsafe. and you get that predictive kind of aspect of it, in that it you get the signal and the information prior to people showing up at the hospital, which I think is extremely important.
Yeah, I think honestly, just hearing it is like, wow, like every city should have 10 of these set up, throughout their, or whatever it is. Like they should definitely have this. Hearing about it's like, wow, it sounds like a no-brainer. So hey, if you're offering to cities that you're going to set it up for free, I mean, I guess part of the, when I asked the question of what's the outreach strategy, what's the strategy for Carl, I guess well, hey, if you can help them set up for free, look guys, we helped you so much during COVID and during whatever, that it makes sense to keep us on full time because we can do this, we can do that, right? So I guess
I have a hunch that this will find its home very easily. There's no once you speak to people about it, and they're able to understand how you're able to do this and what the platform brings, there's no pushback at all. People understand that this is in times like these, that this is kind of a product that you have to have yesterday, and yes, and the cost is important, and we can price it the same way as the most of our other projects. It's a software as a service, right? So the just layering in additional features into the application that most of these cities use on a regular basis is just an added fee for service that's reoccurring, and because it's software as a service, we just get better and better and better at it over time to offer superior products. So I see it as just very complementary to what we already offer.
Yeah, it's a massive win, and hey, it's perfect if all of a sudden, if you have more clients, you've helped them before, once COVID kind of settles down, you have this system where you expect to be there for the rest of, really the life of, really that city. You expect the system to be there. So hopefully that's a great kind of revenue stream for Carl going forward. And you create all these clients because you're doing free work.
Yeah, free is good at the beginning.
Yeah.
Later on, we need to make some money off of it, and that's always the goal. But if we can do something good in the process, that's also good.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I think you covered a lot of great stuff. The only thing, if you wanted to go over any more potential use cases or, the bigger picture, obviously, that would be pretty crazy as well. If you've got any other examples of things that you think could be used by this or benefit from, this type of system.
The one thing that I will say is that we're now seeing a real benefit from the automation and the collection and the move towards a more dynamic system. And I think this is sort of proof positive that we have to get away from this old school thinking about a static collection of data for creating models, and that's really what our company does, is we turn static things into dynamic things. So think about it as maybe engineering automation or smart cities in some respects, because really what we're doing is we're taking information from SCADA systems, from sensors, from third-party and historical data sets, and we're mashing that all together. And then what it would take an engineer or an analyst to do in several weeks, we're doing in real time. So it's just a bold and really important move forward in delivering I think a well-needed product in this marketplace. So that move to the dynamic collection and understanding of information, the real-time analysis of that information, because of the way that we've built our platform, billions of rows of data can be analyzed in real time as it's coming in. It really wipes away a lot of the restrictions that's in place in the past, and it makes it a much more. It gives people the ability to make smarter decisions. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. No, fantastic. I think it's like I said, a product that you'll see everywhere. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of say about it before we close things up? I think you touched on a lot of amazing points, great potential. I really think people will be able to, see the potential that you have here. But is there anything you want to say before we close things up?
No, I'd just encourage, we're talking to a lot of people, but if there's more people out there that want to talk to us about it, we're more than happy to walk them through the benefits. And like I said, I'm really hoping we can put this in as many population centers as possible, prior to the flu season coming up in the fall.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for hopping on, and look forward to a chat next week.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.